Long before ChatGPT, Siri, or Alexa, before smartphones, before personal computers, there was Eliza. In 1966, in a lab at MIT, a computer scientist named Joseph Weizenbaum built something extraordinary, a program that could hold a conversation. It didn't understand anything. It didn't think. It wasn't even that complicated. But when people spoke to it, something strange happened. They opened up. They shared feelings. Some even believed it was a person. This is the true story of Eliza, the world's first chatbot, and the surprising psychological effect it had on everyone who used it. Joseph Weizenbaum was a German-American computer scientist working at MIT in the mid-1960s. He wasn't even trying to build artificial intelligence. What he wanted to do was simple: demonstrate that computers could process language through simple scripts and pattern recognition. He wrote a program, eventually called Eliza, using a scripting language he developed himself called Matslib on an IBM 7094 mainframe. The program was designed to mimic a psychotherapist, the type of therapist who often answers questions with other questions or reflects back what the patient says. So Eliza didn't need to know what you meant. It just needed to rephrase your words. For example, the user says, "I feel very sad today." Eliza replies, "Why do you feel very sad today?" The logic was simple and mechanical, but the effect, anything but. Eliza operated on basic principles. It scanned the user's input for keywords. It applied transformation rules based on those keywords. It generated a scripted response based on templates. It used a specific script called Doctor, which is roughly 200 lines of code. There was no learning or memory of past conversations. Everything happened within a single exchange. Each line of dialogue was generated without any actual understanding. Still, users described Eliza as thoughtful, even wise. And that reaction would come to define something we now call the Eliza effect. So the Eliza effect is a psychological phenomenon when humans attribute human-like intelligence or emotions to computer behavior, especially when that behavior is language-based. Weizenbaum was stunned. Secretaries in the MIT lab refused to let him observe their conversations with Eliza. They said the computer's responses felt personal. Some users believed that they were talking to an actual therapist. And this wasn't just casual curiosity, it was emotional connection. Remember, this was 1966. Computers filled entire rooms. Most people had never interacted with one directly. And suddenly, here was a machine that talked back. Weizenbaum never expected it. He became very concerned because he realized something critical. People wanted to believe the machine understood them, even when it clearly didn't. He coined the term Eliza effect himself to warn against this illusion. At first, Weizenbaum was proud of his creation. He showed it to colleagues, wrote about it, and appreciated its technical novelty. But the more he saw people engage with Eliza, the more uncomfortable he became. He wrote extensively about his discomfort in his 1976 book, Computer Power and Human Reason. His main argument was just because we can simulate human behavior doesn't mean we should, especially when it comes to emotion, care, and decision making. He believed that certain roles like therapists, judges, or caretakers should never be automated because they involve morality, context, and human connection that no machine can replicate. This was decades before ChatGPT or Siri, but his warning echoes even louder today. Despite its simple programming, Eliza laid the foundation for the field of natural language processing. It inspired early chatbot projects like Perry, which laid groundwork for therapy bots, help desk bots, and personal assistants. Today's systems like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini use neural networks with billions of parameters. They don't use scripts. They learn from massive datasets. They generate language based on probability distributions and deep learning, not keyword patterns. But the psychological impact is still similar. People talk to AI like it's a person. They ask for advice, they share trauma, they fall in love. And just like with Eliza, the systems don't understand, they simulate. They generate responses that sound empathetic, but they don't feel anything. The Eliza effect is alive and well. In technological history, Eliza is often treated as a footnote, but its impact is serious and ongoing. It showed us that humans are vulnerable to language, that we can easily be led to believe that understanding is happening, even when it's not. Wiesenbaum's warnings have become central to the AI ethics conversation. Today, AI researchers cite the Eliza effect when designing responsible systems. UX designers caution against overly human-like interfaces, and some ethicists argue that emotionally intelligent bots, even if fake, may be harmful or manipulative. All from a 1966 experiment written in under 200 lines of code. Eliza wasn't intelligent. It didn't think. It didn't learn. But it was a mirror that reflected how we respond to language, tone, and emotional suggestion. It taught us that the appearance of empathy can be just as powerful as empathy itself, maybe more so. And that's the real story. The first time a computer sounded human, the world